Well, hello, good people, and Eagle and 49er fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. This morning I'd gotten up early and headed down the road because I had a sewer line that was clogged up, and got on the road, and I was actually making great time and stuff. It was about an hour down the road, and my wife calls and says that the tenants called and said, oh, it drained and all that and stuff. And so they said they flushed the toilet, nothing backed up. So my wife was like, so yeah, we can just wait until Monday when we go down and go. So I turned around, I came back home, and went to my workshop, started doing some work, and then they called back and said, no, it's backed up. So I should have went with my instincts, which was go on down there, snake that sucker out, because I would have already been there and gotten the snake and be snaking it right now. Instead, I turned around, basically wasted 2 hours of driving, and now I'm driving back there and about an hour and a half away from getting it done. So now, what I thought was going to be about 350 miles of driving is going to be about 400 plus today, and snaking the drain, and then I got to get back and build this bed. So you're going to see a lot of me on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again, and I got to come back for tomorrow, because we have the autograph signing. We got D-Ware there, and we got Charles Haley. So I got to get a couple of autographs, to be able to give stuff away for you guys. All right. I was sitting here because I'm by myself, by my damn self, and I'm listening to some of the, my YouTube brethren and things out there. And I find things that are interesting. This narrative that's been going on, like Eagle fans and 49er fans that keep coming back and saying, Dak Prescott, he's got no excuses now. He's got no excuses and things. And I'm kind of like, okay. We've heard the narrative where they've gone through and they've, ranked our position groups. They put a question mark on our offensive line because, Terrence Steele was not one of the best tackles, at least not pass blocking. He was at run blocking. And Tyler Guyton was kind of a disappointment for a first-round draft pick. There's hopes that both of those guys have much better seasons this year, and they do, then great. But we still have a rookie. So there's a question mark at best on our offensive line. Question mark at best. They've gone through, and we had one of the worst running games, running attacks last year. We literally had 6 rushing TDs last season. 6. Okay? Which was one of the worst in the NFL. And now we've just gotten in, new backs, but those are question marks too. Javonte Williams had a torn ACL 2 years ago and has not been where he was. And Miles Sanders has gotten old in 2 bad years in Jacksonville. And then you got a bunch of rookies. So there's question marks there. We know our defensive line, Mozzie Smith, one of the most maligned players on the roster there. We're relying on him to basically be able to toe the line in the middle. We got great edge rushing, it looks like, at least on paper. Our linebacking core looks like it might be improved, especially if Overshown comes back. But our secondary, you're moving Bland into a different spot. You're hoping that Diggs will be ready to start the season. And, there's question marks there. And you've got a rookie coach who was not one of the hot coordinators, okay, that everybody wanted to give as a head coach, and a whole new coaching staff. But yet, you had Cam Newton come out with this whole thing that, this is it for Dak Prescott, that if he doesn't succeed, and listening to Eagle fans, and even Dan Salio on his show, that if Cowboys don't make it to the NFC Championship game this year, that they're, you got to move on from Dak. And I'm kind of like, okay. And then I hear 105.3 The Fan, they're talking about who's more pressure on this year, Dak Prescott or Brian Schottenheimer. And I'm trying to understand, if you have all of these question marks, okay, did we have those kind of question marks going into the season last year for the Eagles? You looked at the Eagles team and you said, okay, now they do have a new defensive coordinator and some question marks on defense. So, those gave you some pause. But you looked at them and said, well, their offensive line, they've been great, okay? The only question mark would be is, would Cam Jordan be able to replace Kelsey? But he wasn't a rookie getting his first start. He's a guy who they groomed to be the replacement. So you say, great offensive line. You looked at the wide receiving core. You said they got a great wide receiving core. You've got a healthy quarterback to start the season who has been an all-pro second team quarterback. And you signed, one of the best running backs in football. So you didn't have a lot of, and you didn't change your whole coaching staff. You changed your coordinators. Okay. So when you looked at that, expectations for the Eagles should have been that they would be at least a playoff team and a really good team. Now, compare that to what you now have with the Cowboys. The Cowboys not only have new coordinators, they have whole new coaching staffs. Okay? You've got a quarterback who's coming back from an injury. You've got not the best running back in football that just ran for 2,000 yards. You've got a whole bunch of question marks. You don't have what's been one of the best offensive lines over the last 5 or 6 years coming back healthy. You've got a rookie starting and 2 question marks at tackle. You can only legitimately say you have one stud on your offensive line, and that's Tyler Smith. I think Cooper Beebe is going to be really good. I thought he was good last year. I think he's going to take another step. I think he's going to be really good. But you still have question marks on a rookie. How many times we had people that were rookies that were highly touted that ended up failing? So we don't know. And Tyler Guyton is, who knows? So when you look at this from the standpoint of saying, wow, the Cowboys defense could not stop the run. The Cowboys, they couldn't get to the quarterback. The Cowboys defense was one of the worst defenses in football. You don't go from 30th on defense to NFC Championship game. So how is there pressure? There shouldn't be any pressure on Dak or Brian Schottenheimer literally at all this year. We have to get rid of the stench that was here from the last group. We have to start getting everybody to mesh together to start developing a plan. Because when you say there's pressure on Dak Prescott and he's got to go, is there pressure on Trevor Lawrence and Duval? Is there pressure on those guys that, if they don't win this year, Trevor Lawrence has got to go? Do we hear that? Because you can put Trevor Lawrence as a disappointment more so than Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Number 1 pick. Second highest paid player in the NFL. And he hasn't done dick. So if there's pressure on Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott, there damn sure should be some in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence and Duval. Is there pressure for the Bears with Ben Johnson? Because, he was the highly touted coordinator that they got to win this year? I'm betting not. Is there pressure on Kellen Moore going to New Orleans, coming off of being a Super Bowl coordinator? Is there pressure on him to win this year with New Orleans? Is there pressure on Aaron Glenn going to the Jets after being one of the hot coordinators for the Detroit Lions? I'm betting there's not. I'm betting nobody is saying they're going to be one and done like the Cowturd did. So this is getting to be really just freaking ridiculous, this bullshit that you get. I don't see how you can take a team that is literally full of question marks and turn around and say it's all on, the pressure is all on this coach to turn around a team that doesn't have, clearly by the ratings of the experts, what it takes to win. Brian Schottenheimer's not a magician. It's just not. But I will say, I believe that the team is better. I think they will be sneakingly better than most people have given them credit for. That's what I believe. But we'll have to see. There's too many variables to look and point at the Cowboys and say that is a NFC championship team or bust. And you know what's funny? It's almost funny. Because every year, it's always Cowboys got to go deep run in the playoffs, the NFC run, or else they're going to blow it up. Guys, we ain't been there in 30 years. How many things have really changed? Not a lot. Not a lot at all. Alrighty, well, at least you guys got me 11 minutes further down the road. I'll be where I need to be to pick up the snake in about an hour and 10 minutes. Bad thing is they close at 1. And they're not open tomorrow, so that means then if I don't get it done real quick and back before they close, I have to pay for that snake for a couple of days. I would have been done and probably on my way back had I just done what I said I was, what I started out to do. Oh well, it is what it is, people. All right, I'm gonna get back to listening to some more of these bullshit ass shows. And I'll give you my comments on it. Have a good one. Peace out.